In the last video, we looked at the collision detection to when the dragon hit the ring that you can see on the screen, it added 1 to the score. But now what we're going to do is duplicate this a number of times. So just click on once onto the ring there, and then basically copy, and then click on the form and paste, and paste, and paste. So you've got different rings. So I'm just going to put them over here. So you've got one there. I'm just going to put them at slightly different angles so the dragon will still collide with them. And I'm going to take one of these in turn. So click on the first one just once. Remember, they should be set to the same, but you can see that they've been renamed PictureBox. So we want to call this Pick Ring 2. Now click on the next one, call it Pick Ring 3, and click on the next one and call it Pick Ring 4. Now we've got 4 different PictureBox there, so we need to go to the code and we need to collect them all together in an array. You remember arrays from the lesson teaching. You can revise them if you need to. So we need an array, but this time we're going to have an array of PictureBox's. So we just pick PictureBox's here. Remember, we need the 2 square brackets to delineate a one-dimensional array. I'm going to give it a name. We're going to call this rings because we're going to put all the PictureBox rings in it. So we need equal and new. So we're going to create the space in memory, and we're going to say how much we need. So PictureBox there, and we're going to have 4 of them. Okay, 4 rings are going to be PictureBox rings are going to be stored in memory. Now we need to go to the form loader now. That's when the form first starts. It's here, but if you can't find it in your code, just go back to design and double click on the blue bar at the top, and it'll take you to that. And underneath the timer here, in fact, we can put it before the timer. We're going to put our PictureBox's into the ring array. So basically what I'm going to write here, rings, which is our array. I'm going to put in there 0, which is the first element location. And then I'm just going to put inside there picture ring 1. It's on the list here, picture ring 1, and then a semicolon at the end. And then you can just do that again, but I'm going to be lazy here, and I'm going to copy this. Just copy it, and I'm going to paste it underneath. I'm going to do that 4 times. You'll get error messages for the start because you might get a duplication there. So all I'm going to do is change all these numbers here, 1, and I'm going to call that PictureBox. I'm going to pull that picture ring 2, and then 2, that's the second element or third element on that one. And I'm going to put that 3, and that one's going to be 3, and that one's going to be 4. So now we've got all those PictureBox's that we named in there, and they're in the different elements of the array. So that's nicely set up. But now we've got to go to the code, and we've got to modify our timer. If you can't find the timer here in your code, then go back here and double click on the timer, and it goes into the code. Now at the moment, we're not intersecting with the ring, the actual PictureBox itself. We're going to intersect with the array. So we need to modify these to state rings first of all. So I'm just going to rewrite this so it says rings. At the moment, I'm just going to set it to the first ring, which will be exactly the same as a PictureBox that we've got. So I'm just going to copy that again and put it across here. But that is still not good enough, really, if you think about it, because what it's doing here is it's still only dealing with the first element of that array which has got the PictureBox in. So we need to put all this in a loop. So I'm going to develop a for loop above it. So I'm just going to put a for loop here, and I'm going to have an integer, and I'm going to call it index. That's to pick out the element, and I'm going to set the index to 0, so it goes to looks at the first PictureBox, and then I'm going to say if index is less than 0, so that's 0 to 3, 0 to 4. So if it's less than 4, what I'm going to do then is add 1 to the index. Oops. And then plus plus is the short abbreviation to add 1. So now I can put some curly brackets. Now at the moment the curly brackets, it's not inside. That needs to be inside there. So we need to either take this code and copy it in there or move the curly brackets to the bottom. So I'm going to cut this code and I'm going to place it inside there. Now this still won't work because it's going around the loop nicely, but the trouble is that these rings are only pointing at the first one. So we need to take this index here, the index variable, and put it inside and replace the zeros here with the word index. And don't forget this one here as well by the ring. So what that will do is go along and it will detect the collision of first the 0, then the 1, then the 2, and then the third element. And if it finds that it's intersected and it's visible, it will hide that particular picture box in the element. So let's see it working then. So it's going along, flying along the set of rings, and I hope it actually intersects with them all. Yeah, it's intersecting well. And look at the score in the top there. And there we have it. We've now intersected with more rings.